Right, here we are live with winning skipper Kinchit Shah and fast bowling star Kyle Christie. So, I guess you've already been asked many times how you're feeling.
Man, I'm feeling on top of the world right now. I don't know, I can't sink it in yet that we've won. It's been a brilliant week and just can't believe that we've won today.
So, there's lots of things to reflect on the tournament, but one moment I want to bring you to is when there were 6 of you out in the middle talking before and over, and you ended up bowling that next over. I know you were asked up on the podium, but I want to know the real story of what was being said in there. Because I'll count down, okay? Because we had the Zakat standing at the back with hands over Sammy's shoulder. We had Nadeem just like chirping. We had you. We had Sammy and we had Johan. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, so just talk me through that, because I don't think I talked to the umpire. He didn't hear what I was saying. So can you give us the insight?
And Nadeem were spectators, and Johan and Darren were talking about it and discussing the options that we have. So we were counting the overs, and we were like, we need to make up 1 over here, so that we can get Ben 2 overs, and then we can think about the last one later. Maybe probably Sammy ended up bowling it. So they're like, 2 left-handers, let's get an off-spinner and just go back to the length. Anything full goes over here on this wicket. So back to the length grips a bit. So I decided I'm like, okay, might as well. So I went on and then...
So whose idea was it? Who was the first person to suggest to bring you on?
I think Johan was the first person, but Darren backed it up as well.
So Johan last year was new as a player and obviously helped out from his seniority, but he is coaching as well this year.
So he's assistant coach and international player and has guided the team really well throughout the tournament. He's given great input to the youngsters, Arush and Rana, who haven't played yet, but he's been a good influence on those guys. Very professional and has been amazing for the Jaguars so far.
Kyle, there'll be people watching this that don't know your story about how you got involved with Hong Kong cricket. Can you just give us a little synopsis there, and then we'll get on to today?
Yeah, well, basically born in Hong Kong originally, moved to Australia when I was 20. Let's change that, 4. So I've been in Australia 20 years now.
Yep.
Basically saw a little post on Facebook from yourself and Charlie Burke, and basically just looking for overseas Hong Kong-based players. Got in contact, thought of, really good idea if I could get involved, and was invited over, and obviously, it's all worked out from there.
I think one of the things that I noticed being at the ground every day was the amount of communication between the experienced bowlers and the younger, faster bowlers. I saw it with James Franklin, with Haroon for Galaxy Gladiators Lantau, but especially to have Ben Lachlan working with you, who, I don't know if you've done your maths like I have already, but he's played now 7 T20 matches in 10 days. So you talk through the kind of things he was saying and the differences that made in your thought processes out there bowling the death overs and under pressure.
Basically he's been really good. He's been talking me through when to bowl which ball and why to bowl it, basically. So he comes up to me every ball and it's just asking what I'm thinking. So he's not telling me what to bowl. It's, what do you want to bowl and why do you want to bowl it? And, he may suggest something else. But he's been really good, and the experience is fantastic, and obviously I've benefited from it massively.
Kinchit, I think that the recruitment from the JUS side was the best. And it's easy to say that now, of course, but I think you're probably early favourites for me and a lot of people. You talk through your when you're out there looking for overseas players, what you were looking for?
So basically, we knew that we retained myself and Zakat, and in the draft we looked for 3 domestic bowlers, fast bowlers, and we had our all-rounders intact, so like Zakat bowls, I bowl, Neenat bowls. Then we've got 3 other paces, Adil, Tanvir and Kyle Christie. And then for the overseas we thought we need batters here, because I think batsmen can win you the game here, and one bowler like Ben Lachlan, who can bowl off-cutters, slow balls, good variations, and has done very successfully in the big bash. So that's what we thought. And Van der Merwe, good left-arm spinner, great batsman, has scored a lot of runs in the associate cricket. Then we've got Johan Botha, experienced player, played for us last year, so good gelling, good chemistry, good bat, good off-spinner. Darren Sammy came for us last year. It was amazing with the fans. Did all right with the bat. One match he scored runs, and then he contributed to the innings here. Go the final over today, so that was great. Ricky Wessels was a surprise one because initially we had Johnson Charles, but he was replaced by Ricky Wessels.
Okay.
So Ricky Wessels, keeper batsman, saves us a spot in wicket keeping, and a good bat. He's one of the highest run scorers in the NatWest T20 Blitz. So that's what we're thinking, and that's what we came up with in the end.
Thank you very much for both your time. I'm going to continue on and try and get Buck Rogers, but well done, Kyle. I think listening to commentators that played a lot of international cricket, they're really impressed. So hopefully that means that there's a long and rewarding career. So thank you, and Kinship.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you, Tim.
We're a great final, a great tournament. Now I'm going to come around here. Now, guys, just going to sneak around. We're Facebook Live here. Charlie Burke, coach of Hong Kong Island United. A little reflection on the tournament, both as a coach and also looking at it as a former director of cricket for Cricket Hong Kong.
The tournament or us?
Well, maybe a bit of both. You might have...
Tournament? Oh, magnificent. 3 years in, and the atmosphere this afternoon and the way that the ground looks and full broadcast and all that's unbelievable. Hong Kong Island United, we finished 5th, so it's not too bad. Could have been worse. But no, it's overall it's awesome.
Buck, you're back again for the second time in a couple of months. You're here for the Sixers, here for the Blitz. What are your takeaways from, well, Hong Kong cricket, I guess, in general, but I suppose more specifically this tournament?
Look, I think it's obviously growing. There's so much to like. Hong Kong itself is a great city, but you can see the passion of the people involved in cricket Hong Kong, and they want to grow it, which is great to see. But I think that probably the difference in this Blitz, was the fact that the local players stood up, in the final. Nizakat was the player of the match, and that's so good to see.
What do you take from this as a now coach? You've just come from the under-19s from New Zealand, coaching Australia, or assisting with the coaching Australia to the final, and seeing the young talent with the Haruna Shahs that have really come from nowhere from a viewer's point of view. What do you think that emerging nations like Hong Kong need to do in building those pathways and talent when you've got such, I think, so little depth in your talent pool?
Yeah, I mean, more visibility, just things like this, well done to those people who are, behind this tournament. I think Charlie Burke, Max Abbott and the great Tim Cutler were responsible for that. But I think the fact that, you can make it visible and you can show the excitement of these games, but also get the overseas players to come in, the likes of Darren Sammy, Kumar Sangakkara, these kind of guys. You can get that and build cricket here. You look at the rugby sevens and how exciting that is, how big it is. I mean, I know cricket want to create something like that. It's a long way to go, but wouldn't it be wonderful if they did get something like that?
You told me that you're going to be working closer with the under-19s when you get back. Hopefully you're going to be doing more work with them. What's the future hold for Chris Rogers? Successful career in Australia and the UK, Test cricket, commentating on radio, which off the bat in a media career is tough, and I think you did really well. What's next for you?
Look, thanks, guys.
That's
hopefully
Gary Birch there. We head of production there.
Hopefully, buttering him up. He's the one to know. But look, I think all these opportunities are coming up. It's great to be a part of. And, I mean, the media's fantastic. I love my coaching, so hopefully that goes in the right direction as well.
Thank you very much for your time.
Good on you, Tim.
And I hope you continue to enjoy Hong Kong. Now let's go and see who we can find. Now I think I've got Michael Kamalengo here from KPMG. Now we're live here on Facebook.
Great.
So can you talk a little bit about KPMG's involvement, how it came about, and what you think of the tournament?
So our involvement, this is our third year involved with the tournament, and each year it's grown. This year we've put in our biggest level of support, largely because we think the sport is going really well in Hong Kong and has a lot of potential, and this event is a testament to that. So We're really happy with how the event went. You know, it was a great final, great result, well attended today, great weather. So yeah, we're really happy with our exposure and as well as the outcome for all involved.
Now you're involved. Well, you've been the mastermind of the involvement of KPMG in building the Kaitak, consultant for the building of the Kaitak Sports Park. Can you talk a little bit about that and ramifications for the Hong Kong sports industry?
I wouldn't say I'm the mastermind. There's been a big team. Alistair Graham, you know.
See, this is a very casual. So you can take credit.
No, you're a kind man, Tim. But no, there has been a big team. But look, it is a big step forward for sport in Hong Kong. It's a multi-purpose precinct. There's a number of different venues. So yeah, it's still a few years away. Obviously, it's not going to be here tomorrow, but it's a big investment by government, and they're doing it in a way that hopefully means it's going to be a creative and active and vibrant precinct for people of Hong Kong. So yeah, it's very good.
Gary, can you come here? We'll have a quick chat to you soon as well.
Gary, okay.
So looking, I guess, from your work, and we'll go over to Gary shortly, but what do you think about the potential for major sporting events with cricket being held in Southeast Asia and especially in Hong Kong?
Well,
I guess you've done the research. I guess that you're one of the companies that do a lot of this research. I'm interested to know from an expert what potential you see in the East Asian market.
Very, very good question, and I'll let's focus on Hong Kong because that's obviously where we are today. There's a massive amount of upside, right? So you saw today's event, you saw the exposure that it got, across Asia and even into developed markets like Australia and the UK. You saw the level of interest locally here in what is a very small venue. So there is huge scope to grow from there. Clearly there needs to be more support from a range of different angles, different stakeholders to continue that growth. But we firmly believe with the level of diversity of interest here that this could be another massive event, not tomorrow, but in 5-10 years, like the Sevens. It has that sort of potential. So we're really excited about it, and that's why we're throwing our support behind it.
Thanks a lot for your time. I know everyone's keen to get to Alto in Causeway Bay to celebrate, but
are you joining?
I'll be there most definitely.
With bells on, yeah.
Well, luckily enough, I was dragged into the restricted area to witness the presentation. So look, there's still a lot of love, and look, it's still a proud moment for me to be here.
I think just flipping it on its head, this interview for just a brief moment, if I can, Tim. I think credit to Tim because he was a massive part of the growth of this particular event and where it is today and where it's going to go eventually. So you should be remembered for all that effort and hard work as well, Tim.
I appreciate that, and thank you very much. And the check is in the mail.
We are going to get a MTR. Oh, it's rolling coverage. You're not
Here
even going to edit it. You're just going to one continuous shot.
Can you mention your barber?
Here we are live still with Gary Burchett, head of production.
Executive producer.
Executive producer. So, talk a little bit about your experience and history before we talk about the tournament, because I think it'd be great for it.
So 22-year media career spanning radio and television, primarily in Sydney, but also 5 years spent in London working for Talksport. You.
Talk to me, that's fine. Come on. Talk to pictures. Yeah.
5 years spent in London
that was a tip
working for
given to us as
Talksport Radio and also for Sky Sports, and then I worked for Fox Sports Australia in football, and then I worked with Cricket Australia on the first year of the Big Bash. Following the Big Bash, a couple of Grand Slams, tennis events, and then ran Fox Sports News for 3 years. And now I consider myself a broadcast consultant. TV specialist.
Well,
pinch hitter coming in.
Well, I was going to say pinch hitter. Where do you live now?
I live in Costa Rica. So it's in Central America. It's not an island like most people think. It actually is wedged between Nicaragua and Panama.
Why Costa Rica?
Primarily for the school. I have two daughters, and we wanted to give them a second language. And yeah, we're very fortunate. We found a school which caters to our needs, and also found a wonderful little community that affords my wife and I the lifestyle that we crave.
And here you are in Hong Kong. So, how did that happen? And talk us through what you've been through the last couple of years in helping out with the event, and maybe how you see and where it could be going.
So after a year of travelling and not worrying about any sort of professional sort of needs or requirements, I got in touch with Max Abbott, who I knew was working for Cricket Hong Kong. And Max had informed me that the Blitz, their domestic franchised T20 competition, was looking to take the next step. And we discussed ways of getting me on board, and I thought I could, contribute to give the competition a more professional tone. So I came over in March last year and had the pleasure of working with yourself and Max, and together we took a fairly sort of moderate production spend and turned it into an event that garnered close to 12 million streams worldwide. And I think that caught the attention of a few people, and we put together a pretty stimulating coverage for 5 cameras and a fairly basic production spend.
Well, no cameraman that had ever seen a cricket game before, beyond a couple of.
That's right. We had 5 cameramen who'd never worked on cricket. Two of the shooters had done baseball in Taiwan, so their ball follow skills were exceptional. So you put them on the north-south wicket-to-wicket cameras, and in cricket, like golf, if you can see the ball, great. If you can't see the ball,
not so great.
Not so great. So it worked on that front, and I think it just we had Misbah, who scored 6 consecutive sixes. We had Darren Sammy and his all-round sort of warmth of persona. We had Dwayne Smith scoring a 121. So there were some real headline and some notable performances that elevated the Blitz into people's thinking. And this year we sort of raised the bar. We brought on the ICC's official production partner, Sunset and Vine, and just wanted to up the ante.
Thank you very much for your time.
It's a pleasure.
Max Abbott, can I steal you very quickly?
Yeah,
this is going to be the first time that I've actually interviewed you.
Yep.
You've interviewed me a few times. How are you feeling now? 6 long days following long days before that for you.
It's relief. It's always relief to finish. The feeling. I think we work. Everyone. We got a very small team that puts together this event, so it means that there's many all-rounders within it. You can 1 minute you can be organising Darren Sammy for an interview, the next minute you're picking up some sandwiches to go and take to a corporate box, and that's sort of how everyone operates here. It's everyone puts in and everyone does their bit, and then just from a tournament point of view, from everyone that's worked on it, just so happy you get a close final. The stands were that energy of the Blitz that we've seen in the first 2 years, to have them that back again here today was, once I saw the stands full and going and a good game, then can't go wrong.
Now, people watching this probably heard your voice commentating, seen you on camera, seen you presenting, see you running around. Can you give a bit of a background what you did before coming to Hong Kong?
Well, certainly not being involved in a tournament like this. Basically, I worked at Czarsportz for 6 years and was a cricket reporter there, and really didn't have that much interest at that stage in being involved in cricket events, but as it worked out, being involved with my local cricket club back home, Eastern Suburbs, found a real passion for trying to grow the game and events there, and then next thing you know, in Hong Kong somehow, and next thing you know, people are throwing things at you doing an interview after a tournament.
Well, so this is you get to see like what people are really like behind the camera. Charlie, Burke. Well, I guess it's probably fitting that the three of us are here, but I've been fielding a lot of questions today as well.
Yep.
About what's next for the Blitz. Can you talk about I know these may be your personal thoughts more than Cricket Hong Kong's at this stage, but just give me a bit of a feeling for where you see the tournament going from here.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of options. I mean, we've obviously stuck with the status quo this year just to try and consolidate. You probably got to weigh up the commercial decisions that we need to weigh up going forward. I mean, I do think with midweek games, it'd be great to have lights, obviously. I mean, can't hide from the fact it's going to be very difficult, no matter how good this tournament gets, to have people here during the working days, during the week. So finding a solution to that is long term, and that for now would mean playing games somewhere else, potentially, be it Malaysia or somewhere like that where they have lights. If not, then we've got to just if it doesn't make sense and it's going to cost us too much to go over there, then we won't go. But I think we need to look at ways that we can make those midweek matches a bit more of a feature of the tournament. I mean, at this stage of the weekend, we're very happy with here in Hong Kong, but I think looking at how we can
See
we can
both
make
of you in a
those,
bit.
make those midweek matches just to get a bit more, ramp those up a little bit will be the key going forward. But that'll be down to if it makes sense for us. I think a lot of really great sponsors involved in the event this year, and some guys who are very senior figures in Hong Kong coming here for the first time today, looking at this event, going, wow, look at this. There's nothing else like this in Hong Kong. So I think we've just got to build the awareness here further, and at the same time keep an eye on what we can do elsewhere.
Thank you for your time. If I can ask you to be cameraman for just a second.
Yeah, sure.
And I'll just sign off. It's been a pleasure to bring the rolling coverage and the blogs on behalf of Czarsportz and of course our sponsor Rob the Rich, so thank you very much for their support. Thank you for everyone for joining us for 6 action-packed days of Hong Kong T20 Blitz, and hopefully I'll be with you again soon to bring the next tournament.